Hello and welcome back to the lesson. We will continue with the subject Governance and Compliance Audit. Today we move to topic number 5, Engagement and Appointment. This topic has 9 subtopics. Number 1, Designing Terms of Reference. Number 2, Designing Scope of Work and Request for Proposal. 3, Tendering and Procuring Services, Audit Services. 4, Designing Proposal. 5, Qualification Requirements. 6, Negotiating Fees Amount, Structure and Timelines. 7, Acceptance and Professional Appointments. 8, Award and Execution of Contract. Then lastly, Inception Report. These are 9 subtopics. We'll be studying a subtopic one at a time. Today we begin with the first subtopic, which is Designing Terms of Reference. The TOR, candidates, is a document that clearly defines the purpose, the scope, the deliverables, and responsibilities of a project or assignment or a role. So, terms of reference, by definition, is a document that clearly defines the purpose, the scope, the deliverables, and responsibilities of any project. And it is a critical tool for ensuring clarity. It is a tool for managing expectations and also providing a framework for evaluation. So for an audit, the terms of reference are most commonly embodied in the audit engagement letter. And this letter is meticulously designed to cover all essential aspects of the audit, ensuring clarity for both the auditor and the client. And the key components include the objectives of the audit. Components. 1. Now, candidates, when you get an audit engagement, you are a governance and compliance auditor, you've been approached by a company to conduct governance audit or any form of audit, you are required as an auditor to draft an engagement letter, and which embodies the terms of reference. And terms of reference, we've said, is a very important document that clearly defines the purpose, the objectives of the audit. So one component of the terms of reference is the objectives. It states that the objective is to express an opinion on whether the financial statements are prepared in all material respects in accordance with an applicable financial reporting framework. That will be the objective if it is a financial audit. If it is a governance audit, it will also state the objective of the governance audit. If it is a compliance audit, it will state the objectives of the compliance audit. If it's an IT audit, it will also state the objectives. So depending on the audit, the terms of reference will have to identify the objectives of the audit. It also clarifies that an audit is designed to obtain reasonable assurance, not absolute assurance, about whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements. That is if it's the case of a financial audit. So one component of the terms of reference is the objectives of the audit. There is also the scope of the audit. Scope of the terms of reference has to specify that the audit will be conducted in accordance with a certain criteria. If it is a financial audit, then it may be in accordance with the international standards on auditing or other relevant auditing standards. So it defines the scope. It may also define the the subject matter. If it is a financial audit, we state that it is the audit of financial statements or specific areas. It could be an audit of internal controls over financial reporting. It could also be compliance. It's an audit on the compliance with, say, grant agreements that will be audited. Then when identifying the scope, it is also important to mention the period covered by the audit. It could be for the year ended, say, December 31st, 2025 or December 31st, 2024. It has to mention the period covered by the audit. You understand? Yes. There is also limitations of the audit. Limitations. The terms of reference has to state that an audit is not designed to detect all instances of fraud or misstatements or error, especially those that are not material to the financial statements. So that's the scope of the audit. It has to identify the terms of reference. One component is scope of the audit. Then now we have auditor's responsibility. Auditors is also part and component of terms of reference. If it is a financial audit, it has to include the responsibilities under international standards on auditing, including exercising professional judgment and professional skepticism. Another responsibility could be planning and performing the audit to obtain reasonable assurance. Another objective could be reporting the audit findings in accordance with applicable auditing standards. It may also be maintaining confidentiality of client information. Those are examples of auditor's responsibilities, which must be part of a terms of reference. Terms of reference. Then you have management responsibilities. Management's responsibilities. The responsibilities of the management. These are clients' responsibilities, because candidates, audit engagement is an agreement between the auditors and the client, and the terms of reference must embody the auditor's responsibilities as well as the management's responsibilities. These are the primary contract parties. So what are these management responsibilities? Now, one responsibility is preparation and fair presentation of the subject matter. And the subject matter could be the internal controls, it could be financial statements, it could be the framework, governance framework, and so on. So the first responsibility is the preparation and fair presentation of the subject matter. If it is if the subject matter is financial statements, then it has to be prepared in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. And that is a fundamental principle. Another responsibility could be designing and implementing internal controls. The management has a responsibility to design and implement an internal control system. Designing and doing what? And implementing and also maintaining internal control system that is relevant to the preparation and fair presentation of financial statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. The management also has a responsibility to provide the auditors with access to information, providing the auditor with access to all information, all records and explanations that are necessary for the audit. The management also has a responsibility to draft what we call the written representations, or what we call management representation letters at the conclusion of the audit, confirming certain matters. So there are many responsibilities candidates, including responsibility for preventing and detecting fraud. The management also has a responsibility to detect. Detecting fraud or error is the responsibility of the management and not the responsibility of the auditors. So that has to be clearly specified in the terms of reference. Management's responsibilities. Then something else here is reporting. Reporting. The terms of reference should specify the form and content of the report, the audit report. If it is an independent auditor's report, then it has to clearly mention that the report will be required. It should also mention any other reports or communications expected, such as management letter detailing internal control weaknesses and recommendations. These are the deliverables. Reporting. That has to be embodied within the terms of reference. Reporting. Which kind of reports are expected at the end of the engagement. 6. We have fees. There is also the audit fees and the payment, let me call them terms. Payment terms. Audit fees and payment terms. The terms of reference should outline the basis for computing audit fees. Is it hourly rate? Is it a fixed rate? Or is it a hybrid system? It should also stipulate the payment schedule. How will the auditor be paid? Is it upfront? Is it in installments? Is it after certain milestones? That should also be part of the terms of reference. Another element of terms of reference is engagement timing. Engagement is a very key component of terms of reference. Engagement timing. What is the anticipated start and completion dates for the audit? There should also be key milestones and deadlines for information submission by the client. It has to be very clearly stated within the terms of reference when this client or the management will avail information. There should also be agreement on milestones, deadlines, that we are calling here engagement timing. Candidates, we are discussing the components of terms of reference in the context of governance and compliance audit. Number 8, we have other clauses. Apart from these 7, we have other clauses that must be part of the terms of reference, like confidentiality. Confidentiality clause. What does that mean? This means mutual agreement on the treatment of confidential information. We know that confidentiality is one of the key professional requirements, where the auditor is required to maintain confidentiality, because in the process of carrying out his work, the auditor may come across sensitive information of the client, and the auditor is not required to disclose such information without the consent of the client. So the terms of reference includes confidentiality clause. There is also termination clause. Termination clause is part of the terms of reference. Termination clause. That clause indicates conditions under which either party can terminate the engagement. What are the circumstances or conditions that can lead to termination of the engagement by either party? Termination clause. Then we have governing law, which should also be of the terms of reference. Governing law. That means the jurisdiction under which the agreement is governed. It could be under the laws of Kenya or the given current location. Then there is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement and agreement. Acknowledgement and agreement means a section for the client to sign, confirming the understanding and acceptance of the terms. So do you understand, candidates? These are the components of the terms of reference. We began by stating that the terms of reference, the TOR, is a document that clearly defines the purpose, the scope. So we have the purpose or objectives, the scope, the deliverables, that is the report, the responsibilities of both the parties. We have the auditor's responsibilities, the management responsibilities. The terms of reference also contains the fees and payment terms, engagement timing, and other clauses such as a confidentiality clause, termination clause, the governing law, and also the agreement that parties must sign, indicating that they have understood and accepted the terms. And candidates, this terms of reference is a critical tool for ensuring clarity, management, for also managing expectations and providing a framework for evaluation. At the end of the engagement, these terms of reference can be used to evaluate if what was agreed has been achieved. And by carefully designing and agreeing upon the terms of reference, both the auditor and the client can establish a solid foundation for a transparent, efficient, and effective audit engagement. And that's all for the lesson on designing terms of reference. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.